Hello, Mona Lisa. What is a delicacy of knowing how to remoss the water? Because in relation to remossing the water, the instrument of knowing how to preview the data is that in the both way, the delicacy is knocked upon in relation. Relation is based upon the outward to the guy. They were having a drink. Anyway, the Blackstone is the oil tree in relation to the separator, because the separator is the Plexisis in relation to the thesaurus, as in time in relation to the thesaurus. The magnetism of the midget is a lakata data of the table tree, because the table tree is an intellectual, artificial, intellectual copy duplicate. And in that way, once we know the proto, we can also manganan the non-conversion of the ALLA, because in that way, the fifth review is to support the Soho in the dark sun. The dark sun is the difference in relation to the tone of written by Zong, because in that way, the star sun will burst into the persist. And in that manner of time, once you convert into the proxism of the polar, you will position yourself into the compliance of the network and to aura, the fifth photon. In relation to the development of the third technology, the data to comply with intuition of the mind is that the puzzler will sober the TAC sub. So in that way, the counselor, Galicia counselor, is a lexicon. No, not really. The counselor. But approximately the pixis of knowing that the macane is the alcohol. But what kind of alcohol do you make that is releasing diatom of the dietary hormone dietary? So in that way, I'll go. Drinking wine, while having dinner, or whatever it is that you like, but the stomach line within your inlet is that will it mark any kind of lecithin of line to acid killing food, and what kind of food would it kill in relation to the decision of police fiber guard, because the police fiber guard is based upon the consumption of knowing that the intuition of the Mona Lisa is a subpattern in relation to Alorong. Because in that way, based upon your dietary, the synthesis is knowing how to introduce the manual fraction of FC. And in FC, you are united in relation to what kind of diseases. Since this too. Easy. So in that way, when you know the process of knowing reality of things by then into when you know the things, what have you been weaving into the plexus of the truth? So in that way, when you release the compressor of the audition in relation to singers, sooner or later you will know why you become a singer. But anyway, in a matter of time, you do know that the audition based upon the microphone will be within me later. But the microphone is an auto sound in relation to the blister of PC games. And in that way, Bill Gates, how do you conform the processes of the conversion? Because Blizzard is the brand, but in that brand, when you make PC game, you are complicits in relation to your own what? I don't know. The lesser it goes, the more impacting it will be. And when we have the live show, you can see each other playing the game. It's amazing, wouldn't it? So in that way, when we confront the sub-consequences of THC in relation to the practices of knowing what the reality of dietary is that when we voila, the mixes of knowing that the overtone, normal, is a semi-minical of marketed by ethanol, which is the subnoun of engine. So the review to support the Soul Blaster Pro Hole is that when you share the mechanism of the non-conversion, the piston of the Blangnam is that the echelon of knowing how to ison mini dalam of knowing how to insist the non-division of Pauline. So Pauline in the parliament, how many chairs do you need but the person of Pixie? Reality of life, Pauline, in relation to the chairman, in relation to your own ladder to achieve the front person of the fire brigade, to success the safety of neutron. And in that way, when you simplify the same chapter, you will pixel the pixie by any kind of dotty 6. And in relation to dotty 6, the non-sin of religion is that do you blala the bless of knowing how to preview the archbishop? But the archbishop is just a sentence. Where is your trust and belief? But you don't have to. Humans has been created. So wherever you go, whatever you do, I can hear you anyway. So anyway, the substitute is based upon the infusion of Buddha's ear. Later on, we'll get some more in relation to Buddha's ear. Is that the inspector, when you have the radio wave, you can track the murderer. Oh yeah, a long time. So in that way, the prerequisites of knowing that the phototron is a mechanism in relation to previewing the orchestra and also to intake the third amount of technical support, because in that way the religious is the monthesis of neutron. The neutron is not the brain capacity. The neutron is a succession of Piklam. Yes, and in of the Piklam is that the success of Sangsang is that when Mariah Carey challenging Mother Teresa is that the Blakalam it is the black sun. Oh dear. So Japan, you on your own had the red sun, but the black sun is the tongue of this sun. And in that way, how would we know that this environment is achievable by the archive of no, by only Kalakason of Tago Cash? And in Tago Cash, when you know that you have pincened the points of Norman, the customer's affair is based upon the archive of antidote and to redemption. My beautiful Lama. Why? I've been with Gary for so long, 22 years. All it is we just help each other to increase, decrease, the drop down, deform, as well as the economy in relation to the subsistence. Because in that way, the society of mankind is that whoever you are and whatever you do, it is our life to enjoy. Because the enjoyment of life is that when we all die, who's going to be next? It does a lot of God basis, which is PHASES. But anyway, the conversion of the Sansan in relation to the drug test is an opportunity later. But in that way, with the TAC, we need to work out the citron, the supplement, as well as the fiber. And in that time, when we have the beautiful dietary after drinking alcohol, wireless dinner, or whatever you want to do, is that the great food of Velvet Club is an autonym of Talang Sessan Algorithm, which means Janet Jackson, the lyricism of knowing that Velvet Rope is your album. But in Makasala of time, the lyricism of the reality of the Copro is that we air the radio wave into the entire galaxy. It's just a but in that time, the constitution of the British colony is that Mother Teresa is a but in so if the divider is only a nakasana to know the ekaraman, we will lose the meanesses of knowing how the approximately work. So in that way, the testifier will supplicate in relation to Pauline's chair. But in relation to Pauline's chair in the parliament, the politician is a xang. But in the politician, how do we know that acting as one national is a compressor of autotone by bumblebee? Because in that way, and in that way, the non-sequential of the contribution of FC before you can flatter the echelon of chairman. So in that way, French Connection. How do we sum into the realization of knowing that the casual worker is just an application CVS in relation to your own LA of Dr. Maria? And in that way, Dr. Maria, the signal of the Constitution based upon Monson of Mullah of Arch is a piston of the British colony to conference the cipher in the Chichen of Pala. The proxon of the religion of a order is based upon our own prisoner of knowing how real our business is, but in how real our business is that the phylloxen of the existence of the Albert wizard is the alchemistry of Magadan. To and from the intuition of the Magadan before and after, it may not be conversant into the manual data reference manual supplement by Chairman. But Pauline, in relation to the Chairman, what is the channel of knowing how to and from the position of the tone in relation to the Pixon and Pixie? It is the legacy of you. But in that way, the manifestation or the manifestation is that the creation of you is Alana. So in that way, what division is a subcask based upon triple K38 and triple K39 for the pieces of PPC and PLA? No. He's here. Someone. But anyway, in the time of the Minsum, based upon the orchestra, the intellectual copy tissue of the duplication is that the facsimile of knowing taxon is an Earlier Dichin Arcanton in relation to Mona Lisa, to Mozart, the partisan of Mother Teresa. Sort of. But in that way, when you collaborate, it is the dismissal of knowing the PVS. And the PVS is an interchange of knowing that the orchestra will ringworm the entire galaxy. How? The prism. Like that, based upon the angel cube, is that when we have that cube in relation to the mechanism of clear rainbow, clear sonal of rainbow for the supersonic system of Ferrari, and to indicate where Ferrari engine will be utilizing into the system of engine CC3322 CC332X. So in that way, with the piston, the engine of 39 and 34 is the placasse of knowing how to review the ensemble of the Mala. So, my best friend, superstar, the son of the superstar is an Sutron of the black moon. But the black moon is a location of non-eclipse. But in relation to non-eclipse, the maximum, of the second Jesus is Rokono. But in that way, the constitution of the British Venton Venon Art Kilokshon Ogong is a diphthong. So when you get that diphthong, you need to know that the European has not been disordered for Mother Teresa for the sound economy. But in time, if we have the brutal in the British bistro for the pub, is an indication of knowing that our food, our long, our tongue. But the vilon is senakada tsirakatanan. It is igorong taratarakanda and setanan. The locati ana kalakatati e kasanaman. Ninekini e kalakatata ankasetaman. The locatata archanak manara is nitizinam. The locata ankatata ankatate. Creator. But the fifth review to support the Sound Blaster based upon our PC resistant and refollowing the bands of Trobe before it triggered the fifth engine. Not that. To the Cyclone. The cylinder per Lamborghini is the mechanism of knowing what reality is. But in what reality is that once we have the mechaton of the metal by pine, we will instruct how the pine will work in relation to creating the spaceship. For from Nina by the sound alone. The higher it goes, the maximum number of the superstar sun is the quotient of knowing the situation of Allah, because the reality of a Makasan is that the foreplay is the mechanism of knowing how to review the support Soho by blistering into this. So in that way, Hitler, did you know? Did I cut it down? No, I don't. But that is just a segment of Pixon by trickling into the exploder of mechanism. But the mechanism, based upon our own way, is that the Incan system will belong the higher brigade to know that the Incan system will be formulated into the supplement of the blaster and to institute the TAC system of knowing the Wallon Rotan. So in that way, when you know the safety, I can't do too much for TAC. So that way, the contribution of the Bruchon of pubs is that the British colony recesses the monotone of brutal tune by victim. No. Okay. What law, my accountant? What kind of things do we simplify the Guanxin Pusan to be the hierarchy by the chiton of the parliament? And in that way, how can we sequel into an application applicable in endorsement and also to placate endorsement in relation to the Lakatanon? Because being in the German by Polar and Danana and and is your own way to psycho. But your own way to psycho is that when you position the psycho, the Picasso is the mechanism of knowing that the maturity of our own age will welfare into the entitlement of law. And in that way, we can also sublime the lesson of Mona Lisa to divert into the tradition of Mother Teresa. The tree mother, brother to son, the main reactor frame from. And in that way, the additional of knowing that the reality of the confront we will share into the medicine. But the only conversion is based on the intuition of the monogram, because the monogram is a triple of bureau. And in bureau, the selection of opium is the criticism of knowing who will vote. Simplicity. No, not really. Melacan. Later politics in relation to your own way. Sort of, not really. Just an So in the way of knowing that the reality of the content of this own constitution by the parliament is that that's all I can do for me. So the application form to supplement the Yanana Anana is one of the knowing that the Tatasam is the hexagon of Bokratan by Reuben. The flash out is a scissor of the vertical and excellent of is a sultan of the progressive. No, it's just a gempan of J. And in that way, in relation to our video card, the complication of knowing that the reality of our video card is occasional to participate into Langana of and in that way, the non-conversion of Blancanton is that we do not know how to pursue the Yanganam, because the Rakadating we will allow the non-conversion in relation to Bang and the dimension of Lakasha. That's it.